Running an active learning classroom, the first thing that's important is to be patient with the students, because it may be new to you, but in likelihood it's new to them as well, because we've all grown up in a lecture type of an environment where it's very passive. We come to class, we expect that somebody's going to talk to us, tell us everything that they know, and then later we're going to go back and we're going to learn it on our own. Being present is another important aspect. During active learning, when you do active learning, what you'll realize is there's a lot of downtime in the class for you as an instructor. When the students are working through cases, they are usually doing those on their own and with their group. So as an instructor, it could be really easy to say, I'm just going to check my email for 15, 20 minutes. I got this paper I have to submit. And that's fine, but then the students are completely on their own, and they might as well not be in the classroom, if that's how it's going to be run. So being present, walking around, mingling with the students does a couple things. It helps you to get to know the students a little bit better. It makes that connection between you and the students, and it really helps to reinforce higher level learning, because they can clarify concepts that they don't quite understand. A lot of times it's after they've already talked about it as a group and they try to figure it out. If they haven't, then you ask them to do that, and then you find your way back to them later on. Having enough work is also important. When I started doing this, I'd have a couple cases, and what I'd find is that at the end of the half an hour active learning session, they had been done for 15 minutes. So they were talking about what they were going to do this weekend. They were talking about, the Bills game on Sunday. What they weren't talking about is the material in class. So they weren't getting out of it what they would expect. And, that decreases value, and it makes students not want to be in the classroom because what's the point? They're not getting out of it what they thought that they would. So having enough work is important, and that usually takes trial and error. It takes time to learn how much a student needs, because the opposite's also true. You can give them too much to do, and I've been guilty of that as well, where you expect that they're going to be able to get through things, but what you don't realize is that was way too much work for them, and that they didn't do it as in-depth as you would have wanted them to do. So finding the right balance, it takes time, trial and error, but it's important so that they are getting a lot out of the classroom by always being engaged, but that they're not overwhelmed, so that they don't learn things too superficially or divide up the work, which is what I've also seen. If you're not having fun, the students are probably not having fun. And I always refer back to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The scene where they're in the classroom and he's talking about the voodoo economics, right? That classroom was not fun, and you can see it on the faces of the students. They're either bored, they're irritated, they're mad, or they're asleep. And if you don't make the classroom fun, that's kind of what you'll see. Now, you really have to tailor it to your own personality. Some people are really charismatic and they're really dynamic in the classroom, and for others they have different strengths. So I think that not trying to be someone you're not is important, but if there's ways that you can make the classroom fun by integrating humor into the classroom, is what I found works well for me, but doesn't work for everybody. But really, you just have to find that way to make things fun. And sometimes it's a unique activity. Sometimes it's using some people use video clips in class for movies and things like that, things that hammer home points. But the students really, they like, that appeal to them. There's no one recipe for that, but you just have to find a way to make it not boring.